Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's training. My name is Priya Konings, and I'll be conducting today's training on interviewing children for legal proceedings. By way of background, I'm currently a regional director at Kids in Need of Defense. I've been a child welfare attorney throughout the duration of my legal career. I began as child's counsel in foster care proceedings in the state of Maryland and DC, during which time I conducted hundreds of interviews of children for their legal proceedings. I then transitioned into a attorney for Kids in Need of Defense, which is a nonprofit organization that works with child refugees and assists them in securing immigration relief. And as a staff attorney at Kids in Need of Defense, I similarly conducted a significant number of interviews of children for legal proceedings, and then eventually went on to become a regional director. In today's training, we are going to focus on interviewing children effectively for the purposes of legal proceedings. So we are going to discuss who are you interviewing, what kinds of challenges are they facing, what tools you need in order to conduct an effective interview, how to elicit the information that you need in order to put forth a successful case, and how to understand the answers that you receive while you're conducting said interviews. So let's begin by talking about who you are interviewing. So when you are interviewing children, you are going to be likely interviewing someone with an intersecting identity. So what does that mean? Not only are they a child, but likely they are a trauma survivor. So if you are interviewing children for an immigration case, for a family law case, for a criminal case, they have likely experienced some kind of trauma. And if you are interviewing a child for an immigration case and possibly for another type of case, they might also be an immigrant or a refugee, which poses additional challenges when conducting an interview of said individual. We think of children at being sort of at the heart of these different intersecting identities, and each of these identities poses challenges and means that your child is a part of different vulnerable populations. And so it's important to consider all of those vulnerable populations when you are conducting your interview. So let's talk about what it means to interview children. There are a number of challenges that you should keep in mind. First, that working with kids is very different than interviewing adults, particularly in the fact that you are going to be trying to communicate complicated legal proceedings using complicated legal terms, which are often quite abstract and may be difficult for children to understand. Children often have both a limited vocabulary as well as a limited perspective, and so it may require extra effort in breaking down information and explaining terms and concepts so that the child understands it. I usually recommend by starting any interview with a child simply by asking the child if they know what a lawyer is. And then that serves as a launching pad to explain who you are, what your role is in this process, what the legal proceedings are that you are about to prepare for, why you need to prepare for them, and what steps are forthcoming. You want to keep in mind the individual's phase of development and what kind of language you are using according to that phase of development. And we will discuss the different phases of development of children further. Always remember to simplify when working with children, so to ensure that they are comprehending the complicated legal terms that you are trying to convey. Remember also that children focus on a literal interpretation. And so, for example, the concepts that you are using may be nebulous for them. For example, the word threat can be difficult to understand, right? A child may be able to understand that someone standing over them saying, "I want to kill you," is being threatening. However, someone stalking them or showing weapons or forcing them to watch others being harmed, they may not understand that that is a veiled threat. And so, really breaking down concepts and giving examples can be helpful depending on what kind of information you're trying to gather from them.